All right, another case study. Check this out. I cannot believe this. I had some agent, George, sell one of my past clients a investment deal. Client contacted me, said, hey, I think this is a bad deal. And this is after a couple months of buying the home. First thing I was like, dude,
What are you doing?
You bought a home from me in the past. You had a great experience. Then, about a year and a half later, you decide to buy an investment property through another real estate agent. Then you contact me because you're like, what do I do? What is going on? What should I do with this situation? At first, I was like, why? Why would you do that? But then after I had to regain my composure, and you know who you are because you always watch this video, so I'm gonna give you a quick shout out. So I had to put my ego on the side and say, look, man, let me help you out of your situation. What's going on? So basically, he decided to buy a luxury apartment and rent it out through another agent, George. And basically what George did was on April of 2022, my client had bought this property cash. The original asking price on here was $380,000 for this luxury condo right off of Flamingo. 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, 1,500 square feet. The HOA's here, $679 a month. My client said, hey man, is this a good deal? I said, look bro, honestly, George done you. He slammed you into a deal. And you're gonna have agents out there like that, man. They're gonna just slam you into the deal that they don't care about you. And let's just get real. That's how this business is, folks. Am I a little bit kind of upset about this situation? Yes, I'm upset that my client got slammed into a deal, knowing that my client was looking to purchase an investment property. Look, it is very important that you work with an agent that understands the numbers. Does it make sense? Does the agent understand the marketplace? Does the agent know exactly what the cap rate right now across the valley for a single family residence? It's about 4% cap rate, guys. Look, when you work with somebody, you got to work with somebody that knows what they're doing. So I said, look, bro, this is a bad deal. Here's why. You close out on this home cash for $360,000, okay? Hey, you decide to go ahead and rent this out, but your HOAs are $679 a month. That literally eats up into your cash flow. Let's take a look at this. How much is rent? Dude, rents right now are hovering around $2,900 a month. But this is 1,900 square feet. He's at 1,500 square feet. And this is just not making sense. So I had to explain to him like, yo, this is a bad deal and here's why. We need to get you out of this deal and we need to find you another property because at $360,000, I can get you a higher rate of return. Guys, the math never lies. The math tells the truth. All right, let's do the math together. Like I said, the math never lies. So let's take a look at this together. So he had purchased the property for $380,000 cash. There are units that are about 400 square feet bigger inside that complex that's renting out at $3,000 a month. But let's just say we can get the $3,000 a month on his unit. We multiply that by 12. As you can see, his income off that property is generating $36,000 cash flow. Now let's move on to the HOAs and some of the fees because there's fees involved. There's operating expenses, right? So the HOAs here are $679 a month. Now, we're going to come back to this later on, and I'm going to show you why this number is very important. So we take $679, multiply that by 12. His expense here, just for the HOA, is $8,148. Now, we have property management fees. You also have to include this because if you are creating a real estate portfolio and you're managing it yourself, you still need to add the 10% because you're putting in the work. And eventually what will happen is you're going to get multiple properties. You're not going to be able to manage everything. And then at that point, you're going to have to hire a property manager. So this should always be calculated. Now, if you take 10% of $36,000, you are now paying the property manager $3,600 a year. Now let's take a look at the property taxes on this property. Property taxes, $2,104. Now if we add all this together, the total expense to run this property is $13,852. Now, we know the yearly income on this is $36,000. So we're going to take that and we're going to minus that. So as you can see right here, he is literally netting $22,148 a year. But we got to take that number and divide that by 380,000 because that is cash out of pocket. So every investment deal that you do, the whole game is how much money am I putting into the deal and what my rate of return is. This is very important. Take the total cash flow for the year, divide that by 380,000. His return is 5.8%. This is actually a pretty good return. However, you can't always look at the return. You got to look at the deal. You always have to look at the exit strategy. Remember, you're creating a real estate portfolio. You're trying to maximize your properties. There are some properties that may yield you a little bit less than that, but on the resale side, the appreciation could grow a lot faster depending on the type of asset class you have. If it's multifamily, single family residence, condos, townhomes, or high rises. Certain sectors move a lot quicker. Certain sectors produce more of an equity spread, right? So now let's take a look at this. Right now I just checked. He has a total of 7 other sellers in the same complex. They're trying to sell it, but they can't sell it. It's been on the market over 147 days. What does this tell you in today's market? If your property is on the market for 147 days, it's probably overpriced. That means you have to reduce the price, because right now here in Las Vegas, believe it or not, for a condo like this or a condo should be moving less than 28 days. That's your indicator if you are overpriced. And when you have 7 other people trying to sell, all they're doing is competing against each other. And what happens is you have one seller is more motivated than the other. They start reducing the price, then you end up dropping the value of that condo complex. Now, let's pretend if I'm a buyer and I'm going out into the marketplace. I want to go ahead and spend $350,000. Where do I put my money? And typically in today's market, a lot of buyers are doing financing. Now let's just say I want to finance $380,000 because that's the number I want to play with. I'm comparing that condo that he had just purchased for $380,000. I want to know is there anything else out there I could actually buy for $380,000. Okay? So let's just pretend I decide that I want to go ahead and finance a condo for $380,000. The down payment that I'm going to put down is 20%. 20% of $380,000 is $76,000. Now let's just say I was able to get an interest rate at 5% in today's marketplace. My monthly payment with principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, the total monthly payment right now would be $1,928. This is how it works. At $1,928, if I go out and I look at this condo, do I want to buy a condo that has a HOA of $679 a month? So when I try to sell this, or when my client tries to sell this, myself as a buyer, I'm gonna go look at this condo. I'm gonna say, yo, this is a very nice condo. I love it. It's only $380,000. As soon as I walk in and I fall in love with it, I'm like, yes, let's buy it. But then what happens is we look at the HOA fees of $679 a month. As a buyer, they're great and they're happy with the payment of $1,928 a month. But remember, as a buyer, buyers tend to really focus on their monthly payment, not their purchasing power. So let's just say I wanted to buy that condo unit, but now I got to pay an HOA of $679 a month. If I add $679 a month plus the $1,928, now my payment is $2,607. So I'm like, wait, this doesn't make sense. If I'm going to pay this much, can I go back out into the marketplace and at $2,607, what is my purchasing power? Well, here's your purchasing power. Purchasing power now is at $520,000. That's right, $520,000. So now I can buy more of a house. Now the question is, do I buy the condo or go out and get a house? Because here's the thing, when the economy takes a the first thing to go is commercial property, high rises, condos, townhomes, then single family residence. We know our purchasing power is at $520,000. So now the question is, do I pay this amount to get that condo, or do I pay this amount and go find a home at this purchasing power? Now keep in mind, the median price point for a home right now in Las Vegas is only $450,000. You can get 1,900 square feet of home. And that's a lot larger than the condo. In addition to that, you're going to be saving a lot more money, because this is, if you spent $520,000, this is what your payment's going to be. Now, the question is, if I am the owner of the condo unit and I end up buying this property, now I'm stuck, what do I do? So the first thing is, you probably need to get rid of that property like ASAP, because the problem is, going back, nobody's probably going to buy that. It looked good up front because the numbers did, but your exit strategy sucks, because now you can't liquidate it as fast. So now you're forced to drop the price. And all that cash flow that you made, now you're starting to lose that cash flow. So let's pretend I was able to help out my client and sell his condo, and I was able to get back the $380,000. So we got it back, and he goes, I want to go back out to the marketplace. Chakits, what do we do? So the first thing I would do is take a look at the sector, see what's going on. I already know that single family residence right now, if I can find one at $410,000, and I decided, hey, let's do the financing. We're only going to put down 50% of financing. So if we put down 50%, that gives us a total of $205,000 to put down. At a 5% interest rate, my monthly payment would be $1,415 a month. But what we're going to do is we're going to multiply that by 12. So the total expense right now would be $16,980. And this also includes principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. Now this is carrying costs. You have to keep that in mind. Now let's take a look at property taxes. Property taxes is $2,104. Don't forget the management fee, 10%. Now 10% would be of the rentals for single family residence across the Las Vegas Valley. The average is about $2,800 a month. Multiply that by 12. That gives us a cash flow of $33,600. So let's do the math here. So we have the expense for our mortgage, principal, taxes, and insurance. Add that, $2,104, which is the taxes here. We're also going to add property management fees of $3,360. So the operating cost is $22,444. But we know the property now cash flows $33,600 a year, but we have to subtract that. So now we subtract this, we cash flow $11,156. Now, coming back here, as you know, the cash flow on this property is $22,000. It's half. And I know you guys are thinking, oh, maybe I want this. This is better. Hold on. But let's go back. If we take a look at this now, we have to take a look at our rate of return. What is the rate of return? We take $11,156 of our annual cash flow, divide that by our down payment. Remember, it's how much money you put into the deal and what your rate of return is, how fast your money is working for you. Now, as you can see, the rate of return is 5.4%. His condo right now is at 5.8%. And you're like, wait, Chuck, that's better. No, it's not. This is better for a couple reasons. What are the reasons? Well, number one, on the exit strategy, single family residents tend to yield you a higher rate of return on the equity spread when you sell it. Condos, not so much. In addition to that, HOAs are a lot higher than single family residents. Now, another thing is this. We literally only spent $205,000. Now, if you take $205,000 minus $380, that means we were able to get a property that gives him a return of 5.4%, but he still has $175,000 in cash, but he's using the power of leverage by getting financing and getting a better asset class. So this is the better deal. So guys, it is so important that you work with a real estate agent that understands all this, that understands what your goals and what your outcomes are, especially if you're trying to get into the real estate game and you're trying to create a real estate portfolio. So if you guys would like a free consultation, give me a call and let's go over your real estate portfolio and let's take a look at your situation and how we can actually execute and get you what you're looking for. If you guys like more video content like this, drop us a comment below, and if you haven't had a chance to subscribe to this channel, go ahead and click that subscribe button. Other than that, until next time, I'm Chakits. Peace!